Okay, but you don't go to church and stuff, right?
No, no.
That's cool, man. Trust
used
me.
to be Catholic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, us too, man. According to the Bible, these people here, you see, you know about the Israelites in the Bible. So according to the Bible, these people here on the left-hand side, you see, is Negroes, West Indians, Latinos, North American Indians. These are the Israelites that the Bible speaks about. Now, how do we know this? We connect the curses. Now, you've heard of the slave trade.
Yes.
The slave trade itself is in the Bible.
Yeah.
Now, the slave trade, Deuteronomy 28, talks about us being sold into Egypt again, because you know about the story about Moses taking us outside of Egypt. Now, when you look at the history, secular history, which means outside of this religion, we never went into Egypt again. So which Egypt is God talking about that we're going to go into? Now, when you look up the word Egypt in the Hebrew, because the Bible is written in Hebrew and then written in Greek, so you got to look up a lot of the words in English the original word. We lose words in translation. So when you look at that word Egypt, it means bondage. So what the Lord was saying is you're going to go into bondage once again by the way of ships. Now, no other nation on this planet went into slavery by the way of ships, other than the Negroes. Now, when you go into the word,
Heavy stuff.
It is.
This one right here.
This is right here. Now, where are you from? Are you from Nigeria?
I'm from Ghana.
Ghana. Okay.
Yeah, he's a Jake.
Yeah, he's a Jake. You're probably one of.
Yes, like
here.
like you're most likely probably a Judah. I'm a Judah, Benjamin, or Levi because that is our southern kingdom.
Exactly.
I have a question though.
Yeah.
I like out of like the various like Abrahamic religions, right?
Sorry, can you speak up?
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely sorry about that. Out of like the various like Abrahamic religions, right? Like Islam, Judaism, Christianity.
Yeah.
Why if someone has an issue? Because usually I feel like I haven't met many like because you're like an Israelite.
Yeah, we believe we're the Israelites.
Yeah.
I haven't met anyone. Well, there are newer ones who were recently born. But I haven't really met many people who were born into it. They usually gravitated to it from some other form of Abrahamicism.
Right.
So my whole thing is like why? Because I understand the logic behind why you want to leave. So my whole thing is why would you leave from one form of Abrahamicism and go to another? Because whether you jump from Christianity to Islam or Islam to Judaism or from Christianity to Judaism, you're pretty much just
Jumping from one to the
yeah,
other.
but if you and I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Absolutely. But if and because me, I've been through like 7 different spiritual systems, right? So I've been through Catholicism, Islam.
Yeah.
I've been through. It gets. I've been through a lot of different spiritual systems, right? So and so I can definitely understand why you want to leave. It's just that because I'm even on Facebook, I'm friends with Israelites and stuff like that. We discuss this stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't.
Yeah.
Me personally, I just.
We understand what you mean. At the same time, like your question is, why are we into this, or why, like out of everything, why do we choose to follow this, right?
Yeah.
Because this is the truth. The scriptures talk about how the Lord's going to talk to his sheep, and his sheep will hear his voice. This has nothing to do with religion. This is the truth about our history. The reason why our people are at the bottom. The reason why we were taken into slavery. Because we actually are the children of Israel and we disobeyed the Heavenly Father. So therefore, everything that's happening to our people in the western part of Africa goes back to the Bible. The Bible is not the book of religion. It's the book of our nationality, history, records, right? Statutes, laws, and commandments. Things that we must do, things that we cannot do. Right?
Like reading about the Romans in the history books.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Yeah, this is actually our history. So our nationality, who we are as a people, right? Like for example, the so-called Negroes in America, right? They're called black. Black is not a nationality, that's the color, if anything, right? So why the hell are people calling themselves black, right? So all of these actually play a role into the conditioning and the mind of our people today. So like, this is not a religion, this is our history, our heritage, who we are, who God actually set us up to be in this planet today.
I have a question. Do you, so you're like, you consider yourself Jewish, right? Like Jews.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, so-
sorry, like, I'm a Jew, is actually like, I'm a one of the tribe. We're Israelites. Like for example, he is of the tribe of Judah, but I'm of the tribe of Levi. So
Oh, you're
technically,
Haiti?
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
so technically, like, I'm not a Jew, but I am
Oh,
an
so you're
Israelite.
American?
No, I was born in
In
Nigeria.
Nigeria,
You're
yeah.
born in Nigeria?
Yeah.
Igbo,
Igbo tribe.
Igbo means Hebrew. And,
No way,
a lot of them go
Yeah,
like
exactly what the president said. The word Igbo goes back to the word Ibar,
Yeah.
which means, well, Hebrew,
Yeah.
goes back to the word Ibar, which means from the past.
Yeah.
Because because in secular history, you read about, you want to get that?
Yeah.
In about Matthew 980, 70
Yeah.
You want to get that real quick?
Touching Matthew, yeah.
Because this is how the Israelites ended up in Africa, and that's how, because you have
Yes, I'm
Yeah, go ahead,
sorry
go ahead.
to cut you off.
Go ahead.
But usually what history tells us is that pretty much our history started from after slavery. They don't ever talk about what happened before that. You know what I mean? What we learn in school today is about how black people were sold into slavery, or black people sold other black people into slavery, and this and that. But they don't ever talk about I'm a prior to that. And actually we ruled all over Europe. We actually ruled, and we lived in Israel, but we had to flee because the white man came and pretty much slaughtered and took everything, just like how he took the so-called Native Americans country today, right? This is the so-called Native Americans land, but who actually conquers and rules it? The so-called white man. He's the one that actually runs this place. And the Native Americans are living in the ghetto. So that's the same thing. Israel is actually our homeland, but we had to flee away because they came in with guns, and they pretty much destroyed, our wives and our children and took over.
So,
So our history goes back way before slavery,
So like the present place that's called Israel right now, like in the Middle East.
yeah, right.
Right? Do you guys like have an affinity for it?
You got two
Yeah.
type of Israelites. You
Yeah.
got,
Those are imposters.
yeah, they're not the real. No, they're not
They're
real.
actually false.
That's why they call themselves
Yeah.
Jewish.
Yeah.
They'll say Jews and they'll say Jewish.
Yeah.
The ISH is something behind is pertaining to.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question. The Ethiopian Jew, right?
No,
They're
they're false.
Colossian.
Yeah.
The same thing.
They're the
same
Colossians. Which the word
Jews.
Colossian actually means false. False Jews.
Like they will actually call themselves Colossian Jews and not know what that word means. What
yeah.
they're saying.
Yeah.
That word, literally, like the brother said, that word means false. So they're saying we're
We're the
false
false
Jews.
Jews.
Wait, okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
You're like, when you say you're like Nigerian,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
born in Nigeria, like your bloodline.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was born in
Yeah.
Nigeria. Yeah.
Because I'm not completely new to like a lot of the talk, a lot of
The talk
the
of
discussions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You have general
Yeah.
knowledge. Yeah.
But I've noticed like one of the themes that seems to pop up is that even because obviously like there's a delineation between like say African
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
and native and or like because they're even some make the arguments that even melanin like melanin just kind of melanin couldn't fit into it.
Right.
So that different they are indigenous to North America and stuff like that. Because if you look at the Olmec and the Aztec and all of that, you
Yeah.
can see like who look quote unquote. African.
Yeah, yeah.
So if people like that are going and then throw delineations between them and say that okay, so I've met Hebrew Israelites who wouldn't technically consider you an Israelite because
Exactly.
Yeah, because
like,
you were in Africa, right?
Yeah.
But again, right? Sorry, But the reason why they don't do that is because they don't actually dig deep into the scriptures to actually understand that the Bible talks about how we were scattered. So Israelites are actually scattered among all of these people, and there's still Israelites in Africa today.
Yeah.
Not every single Israelite was actually handcuffed and put on their ships. Some of them actually flew away, and then they had children and children and children, and you are who your father is. So after generations and generations, there's still going to be Israelites in Africa. There's going to be Israelites in Asia, all over the world, because the Bible talks about how the Lord's going to scatter us among all of people. So for those people who might not consider, him, for example, as not being in Israel because he was born in Africa, that's just not being actually logical enough to actually
Yeah,
dig
it's
deep.
not deep enough.
That's not deep enough.
Yeah.
Because the Bible goes deeper and deeper, talks about the seed and how your father is. So for example, if this brother goes to China, and he has I'm a woman, I'm a that's Chinese,
Absolutely.
right? And let's say he has a child with them, and then he comes back. That child that he left there it's still his seed, regardless of where it was planted, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's the same thing.
I have a question for you though. Like you said, you're of Haitian descent. Right?
Yeah.
So why, like you? Because I know what about like voodoo and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no,
Oh
that's in the
yeah.
scriptures,
Oh
man.
yeah.
That's-
Yeah.
So are you a practitioner?
No,
or-
no.
You can't do that.
No, see, like, see again, because the Haitians were the Levites in the Bible, which are the priests. So because of the curses, we were the most like I'm a spiritual people. Like we were actually closer to the I'm to the heavenly Father. As a whole people, but the Levites were the ones who were the priests. So they actually
give them the laws.
yeah, you can. I'm a so I'm a so they were, sorry, I'm a so they were the ones who were giving the laws, and so on and on. But because of the curses, on the left-hand side, what do they do now? They do voodoo,
Yeah.
So again, right? But if they're actually in their right mind, they can actually serve the Heavenly Father accordingly, right?
I understand that, but my hope, okay,
Yeah.
like just on a general spirituality thing though.
Yeah.
Me personally, one of my criteria, my personal criteria for
Yeah.
like any spiritual system that I choose to follow,
Yeah.
is that it has to empower me, other than just psychologically, because like psychologically you can believe anything and have it make you feel better, right? But it has to produce something tangible for you, whether financially.
Okay, let me ask you something. Do you have faith? Do you
I don't really
believe in faith?
believe in faith.
Okay,
But like,
that's where we go off because you're right. Like you have to have something tangible, but
Yeah.
like, can I tell you why I don't believe?
Yeah.
Okay,
Go ahead.
my whole thing with faith is that if your spiritual system is based on faith, then, well, one of the arguments you can have against that is if you believe that, let's say I have a personal belief that I came to, that's purely based on faith, and that people of Igbo descent right,
Yeah, yeah.
are my personal enemy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And my whole system is just founded on that, right?
I
But it
got
has no rational basis. I just believe because I believe some higher power told me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Automatically, I have a problem with you with no logical basis.
I got a
And on top of
question.
that, yeah.
I got a question. Do you believe in Wi-Fi?
I don't. No, I understand the science behind Wi-Fi. but I
Right.
don't
So
believe
like
in
you
Wi-Fi.
can't see
That-
it,
that-
but you know it's there.
No, you can scientifically break
Yeah,
down
you're right.
why.
Yeah,
exactly,
you're
exactly.
right.
Like, you know what
But
I
let
mean?
me tell you something. You're right. You're right. In other words, I know exactly what you're saying. You
Okay,
can't
yeah.
just say I have faith and then not
Exactly.
prove what you're saying.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We have faith and we can prove okay, so we'll tell you we have faith. This is our faith, we'll explain to you.
Yeah.
And we can prove our faith through the book.
Yeah. And also secular
And
history. right?
secular history.
Yeah.
And we can get into secular history. So
If we need to.
if we need to. Don't get me wrong, we can go into secular history and prove exactly everything we're saying. We can prove that the slave trade is in the Bible. We can prove that God doesn't like the color white. We can prove that according to the Bible. It might not be something that you accept,
Yeah.
fine, but you can never say that we didn't prove it according to our book.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm
I
saying?
understand.
So we can prove all of that because at the core of everything we do is faith based.
Yeah. Everything we do is pretty much about faith. Yeah.
Now there was a scripture I wanted you to get. You have a question?
Yeah,
About Matthew.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
I was just gonna say that well, once again, like as far as faith goes, right? Like we all need something to believe in because this world is insane, right? So so at the very least, just having any kind of faith is better than having no faith. They're just coping with just the way the world is, right?
Yeah.
So
we
I
wanna
get
get
that.
to the next level.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
But my whole thing is that just anytime you have something that's based on truth, it's very easy to manipulate people because
No.
just
No, you're right. It's true.
If you look at just how, because I'm assuming you used to be in some form of Abrahamism before you came into this, right? Now, if you look at the history of how a lot of that's spread,
No, you're
a lot
right.
of it, you can understand what I'm
Yeah,
getting
you're right.
at,
No, you're
right?
right. It
So
can easily be manipulated.
exactly.
Absolutely.
So like my spiritual system is founded on things like logic, meditation, stuff like that. It's not really. It's founded on nothing that's outside of you. You don't need to read.
Right.
the book
But
or
let me
get
ask you something.
Yeah.
When do you know anything about concentration camps?
Yeah,
New World Order? You know about all that. So
Like Alex Jones.
right. Okay. So
Yeah,
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's a puppet too, but he
Yeah.
gives you some real stuff too.
Yeah.
Now, do you know anything about the Arafat Egypt?
Yeah.
Now you know how do you believe that's the mark of the beast, or do you believe you need to take are you gonna take the Arafat Egypt? You're
Why
not gonna
not?
take it.
Why not?
Yeah. Why aren't you gonna take it?
Well, there are a lot of reasons not to. There are health reasons why you shouldn't take it.
Yeah.
You're putting a piece of technology
Right,
into
right.
it and manufacturing.
Yeah.
Well, why won't you take it then?
Because
It
you,
allows-
because you,
Well,
you
okay,
need to
okay,
eat.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He won't be able to eat without it. It's gonna be the new currency. So, so,
So
so, so saying that you won't take the RFID chip is the same thing as saying in today's day right now that you don't want a SIN number. Absolutely.
Or
Because
we'll get a birth certificate or
everything's gonna be in there. RFID chip is gonna have your currency.
Yeah.
It's gonna have your health card. It's gonna have your license. Because everything is moving to electronic in this world. You tap now. Sometimes you don't even need a tap. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, I don't have that on.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
Like caramel.
yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like that's
Which one didn't start?
yeah, that's exact. So when we say, yeah, why aren't you gonna take? Because you're gonna need to eat. Are you gonna be able to go hungry for 3 days? Are you gonna die before you believe it?
See, what's interesting, like, one of the things that I came to, right, like on my whole spiritual journey or whatever,
Yeah.
is that a lot of the aspects of any other spiritual system that I've been into,
Yeah.
I incorporated that into what I am right now. So, for example, there is a form of, if you're into mysticism, right, that's why I activate, that's when you said that you're Haitian, right? Like, Haitians are actually a very interesting group. Like, just if you're into like just things like mysticism and all of that, like it's actually a very
Right.
there's a you can go into that, but there are what they call like mystical paths within each of the Abrahamic faiths. Right? So like in Judaism, it's called Kabbalah. Right? In Christianity, it's called Gnosticism, right? And in Islam, it's called Sufism, right? And all of these were trying to connect with God or the higher power, or the equivalent would be Yahweh or whatever.
Is this going towards the chip?
Yeah, this is all incorporated with that. Yeah.
Okay.
The Christian version of mysticism, right? Gnosticism, basically says that, like you said, the earth or human physical existence is very. It's while there are pockets, there are places on Earth that are nice, relatively, like Canada. Or if you, yeah. But as a whole, collectively, the planet is loose, whatever, right? So, not all, the half of Gnostic philosophy, which is actually the original Christianity, is basically says that Earth is a form of hell, right? So, perpetuating your existence, because the thing about pretty much any spiritual system that existed prior to 6,000 years ago is that all of them pretty much subscribe to reincarnation. So they don't believe that you die and that's it, and then you go to heaven.
Reincarnation is in the Bible too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
But
reincarnation. Yeah.
absolutely, it was probably put in there by the Gnostics, right?
So by Israelites. The men that wrote this book were Israelites.
All of them.
And that's secular history. All the men that wrote this were Israelites. They believe, that's why, that's the only reason why it would make sense. Get that Ecclesiastes, start reading from the Bible. Get that Ecclesiastes where it says the earth, I think that's 3, the earth is a place of judgment.
Oh yeah, kind of got you.
It's just, our points are better explained if you see where it's coming from.
Absolutely. I was just trying to say, okay, to cut it all short, not just go on this long. Okay.
Yeah, just get to the point, brother. I was sitting there like, you gotta get to the point, you know? Like,
Okay. All I was gonna say is that in Gnostic Christianity, which you could say was derived from, because if you go back far enough, all of the spiritual system connect at one point. That evolved into Hebrewism, Islam, all of that, right? And the original founders, you could say, of that, all personally believe that Earth is not a place you want to just perpetuate your existence indefinitely, right? So there are people who fantasize living to 100, being rich, being famous, having tons of friends and family and all of that. Gnosticism speaks against all of that. And so, me personally, when we talk about the RFID chips and the New World Order and the World War III, just all the worst nightmare case scenario you can think. To me, one, I'm not afraid of them. So like that just completely 100%.
So you
like
go,
the
you go
pain,
3 days
admittedly, the pain. I know where you're going. Also, like, admittedly, there are like 60 million different ways you can go, and not all of them are nice, right?
Yeah.
So the actual state of not physically existing on planet, like that doesn't phase me one bit.
No, I'm not worried about that.
Might be a problem.
I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about dying. Like, that's why we're up here. We're eventually working on not being scared to die for it. But it's like
we're still in the flesh.
Exactly, we're still in the flesh. You know, you can
Like,
be as spiritual as you want. I still feel a punch when I get hit in the face. You know what I mean?
No, you can train yourself to a point where, like for example, if you ever looked at you know, like
But yo, listen, I get what you're saying, brother. But it's you versus them and their technology.
Okay, absolutely, but
You can't train yourself to get.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. But like, have you ever seen like Zen monks?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, have you ever seen a video of because they have protests in China and stuff like that, and Tibetan monks as their form of protest? But everybody have their own way of protesting. Right? Their personal form of protest is to literally set themselves on fire, right? And then they'll meditate while they're literally burning to death
Yeah, it hurts
and not
them.
move. No, okay, I know what you mean.
It's still painful, but they're just able to
exactly,
sit there.
exactly.
That's
They've
all it
trained their
is.
mind to a point where literally any form of psychological or physical pain they can withstand it to the
So are
point
you
where
gonna
they
be
don't.
able to do that? Are you gonna be able to do that?
Okay,
Really?
No,
relate to you.
absolutely.
It's a good story,
Absolutely.
but
But keeping in mind that these monks have been meditating for probably since they were born. They were born into that. So,
Right. They've done it for decades.
so to get to that point takes but the gist of it, I respect that. Right?
Yeah,
So
But
So-
I'm talking about you, because this is all that matters. It's you right now. Those
Yeah, like,
monks, they're gonna be good. If they don't take the chip, fuck. They'll probably have a better chance not taking the chip because they can withstand all that pain.
Yeah.
But for you, brother, like are you, when they say, listen, this is our new currency, this is how it is, like they say you need a SIN number, are you gonna say yes or no?
I'm gonna say no. Listen,
Yeah,
the only two ways I can go, right? One of the ways
yes
I
or
feel
no,
is
bro.
like if that's why I bring up how you die too, because technically you die every time you fall asleep. Like, how do you know? How do you really know that the state of
I'm
being
with
asleep
that.
and the
You
state of
sleep,
being
you
dead?
dream, your spirit goes out.
Exactly. It's really it's just
Right.
one.
But I'm not
you're
talking
one
about
move
dying.
away.
I'm not even talking about dying. I'm just talking about taking the chip because
No,
these guys are smart. For instance, I used to always think to myself, how do you kill somebody that's ready to die? You can't do
can't.
it. No, but
Right.
how do you do that? You torture him. That's how you do it.
Well, that's
Someone who's ready to die, you keep him alive and you keep him in pain. That's how you do it. Right? That's how you
No,
do it.
well-
So these guys, they're gonna tell you, you're gonna say, yo, it's like, I can't tell you the location, you might be reading them. But get the other one, they should put you in the dungeons. I think that's also
Henderson.
murder you for my name's sake. Something like that.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, I'll keep talking, you can find it. But you know what I'm saying? You're gonna say no, and they're not just give you a quick death. You'd be lucky. They're smart. They're not idiots, right?
Oh, well,
You're gonna say no, and they're like, okay. Now that's what they have. That's why it's called a concentration camp. To build you. To build absolutely. It's what's the jail system? It's the same thing. You don't obey the law, and then the way the world works, they put you in a system to make you
But you could just take yourself out.
take yourself out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can take yourself out, and if you can
So
do that,
what's the difference?
but no, you could take yourself out.
Yeah,
if
but
you
if they
want.
have a hold of you,
But
yeah,
even
you can
no,
start
but
yourself.
even if you're by yourself, you take yourself out. According to the Bible, killing yourself is against the law. Now,
Wait,
whether you
okay, so
believe
how-
in that or not, it's up to you, right? But I won't take myself out because I know if I end up killing myself just to escape the punishment, the Lord's going to do it. Because the Lord said you're not supposed to kill yourself.
See, that's one of the.
That's where we're probably disperse.
Yeah.
So I guess what you're saying is you'll say no,
So,
and if before they throw you in, you'll kill yourself. Is what you're saying?
No, I'm saying. Wait, okay. How about if somebody tells you, look, man, there are two ways this. Either you do this, or I'm going to kill you, and I'm going to do it in the slowest, most painful way
Yeah,
possible.
yeah.
So you can wait for that to happen, or you can do what I'm telling you to do. What's your choice? Is your decision
I'm gonna
based
say-
on that is going to say that, oh no, I'm not going to do it. I'm
Yeah,
going to wait for
yeah,
it.
you're gonna have to torture me, bro. That's
See, now I have to reverse that same question you asked me. You're
and that's my answer. You're
You're not
have
gonna
to
break
torture-
down because there are people who say that and then
no,
break.
because you know what's okay. Hold on.
And we're talking like revolutionaries and Che
Right.
Guevara and
That's
all
what.
of that. Like,
How do you think they did it? They had enough.
and they
had
broke down too.
bet
Like,
so.
Yeah, but they broke down. But you know why they broke down? Because the foundation wasn't solid. Listen, in the end of the day, you said a good point. You said, what's the point of jumping from one to the other? Abrahamism, right? You keep jumping to all these different ones. Well, guess what? There's only one truth. There's three of us here. You think the sky is yellow, he thinks it's red, and I think it's blue. Who's right? See, not all of us.
That actually raises a very interesting
Right, but
point.
not all of us. Just me. I'm right. There's only one because the sky is blue. That's it. It's truthfully true.
What if you're colorblind?
This doesn't
Then
matter.
it would be great to me.
Yeah, but the truth is to you. But what's the truth?
Okay, here's
Objectively,
one of,
get outside of your mind. Now, hold on.
I've got a scripture.
Okay, read
This is
that.
the book of Matthew 24, verse 8. All these are the beginning of sorrow. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
And that's true. That's the time that's coming. That's why I was asking you because and you're right. It's good to have some kind of spiritual thing to believe in to hold you together when all that breaks loose. But guess what? If your spiritual foundation it's not the truth, then Anunnaki is gonna fall.
Yeah.
All it needs, like it might, let's say you have a spiritual foundation. It's been holding you together for 10, 20 years. It might be the one that holds you together for 30 years and then bang, that's the hold, that's the time. Because the truth lasts forever. There's nothing that can come against the truth. Those guys, those revolutionaries that you're talking about, that you're comparing us to, if they fell and they broke, the difference between us and them is they won't start standing on the truth. It's just the truth.
My whole thing is like, okay, here's
We're
what
standing on the truth. That's why we're going to be able to get toward truth.
Definitely, like at the end of the day, I personally don't believe in what they call proselytizing, right? Like I don't believe in telling people what spiritual system they default, because ultimately they're the ones who are gonna have to live and die by their spiritual system, right? So for that reason alone, it doesn't make sense.
We're just doing this because we're supposed to do. We can't like the Lord is the one who convinces you at the end of the day. We're just mouthpieces. You're right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But just me personally.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
One of the reasons why I couldn't really get into any form of Orthodox Abrahamism, whether it's in the form of the Quran, the Bible, the Torah, was that if you study pretty much any ancient spiritual system, it pretty much tells you that you're God. Like, I know it sounds crazy to think about. You really have to think about it all before it starts to make sense. That you yourself, because if you think about it, do you ever really experience anything outside of your own mind? Because your vision is connected to your mind, your hearing, your taste, your touch, your every physical sensation you're feeling right now is inside your own mind. So technically,
that's where your spirit is.
Exactly. So, exactly, right? So technically, what Zen Buddhist monks, what Shaolin monks and all of that do is they cultivate their mind to such an extent that pretty much anything that happens in the external world, they can manage to not get phased by it to the level that exactly.
That's exactly.
So a lot of the pain that a lot of people feel, right, that they feel the need to call on higher powers on. A lot of there's spiritual systems that bypass that completely. Which that's my personal approach. By just training their own mind. So and then there's a backstory behind that too, if you believe in reincarnation and that kind of thing. So
but evidently you're relying on yourself.
Exactly, because
Which means
because
that you bring up your own understanding, right?
you come to your own conclusion. Like one of pretty much any spiritual system that teaches you to worship or to subscribe to a higher power, a being that you see, that you perceive outside of you, doesn't exist prior to 6,000 years ago.
It did.
Which we know Orthodox.
Before 6,000 years ago.
No, like I can.
Further back, like Abraham.
Absolutely.
They believe in a higher power. Now, mind you might not believe in that story.
And anything that's written down.
But according to the Bible, there's Abel and Cain are prior to 6,000 years ago. And they believed in a higher power. Both of them.
Yeah, so you don't believe in anything that's written down?
Anything that's written down. Okay, if I wrote a book, right?
Yeah.
And then 6,000 years from now, someone found that.
No, you don't believe this.
I'm not just saying this because of faith.
Okay.
You can logic, like,
Have
just
you been
using
to
your
school
own logic,
before?
right?
Have you been to school before?
Yeah, I went up to like
What's
college.
Okay.
Yeah. What's 2 plus 2?
Huh?
What's 2 plus 2?
I've been trained to tell me that 2 plus 2 equals 4.
Okay, so
but it's not that I objectively believe, or I've objectively come to the conclusion that 2 plus 2 equals 4. My whole thing is, because you
know what it is with you? I perceive, I could be wrong, but I perceive that you're too deep. Because at the same time, because you said I've been trained to believe. But that's still the truth.
That's half
2 plus 2 is
half of life.
You can't
Absolutely
numbers don't lie, right?
No. Okay.
Yeah, man. Like, I get what you're saying. You're right. This is a system. You have to come against it. I get where your mindset is.
But you gotta deal with actually.
You have to understand. The best liars are the ones who give you a bit of truth and lies together. So you just have to see the truth a little bit.
You gotta be able to chew on the meat and spit the bones out. Literally, honestly, man.
But absolutely not. But as far as basing your life on any book, right?
Yeah.
Like there's one spiritual system that, because just generally I'm not a big fan of religion, right? But there is one spiritual system that does have a holy book that I can kind of almost get around, which is you know what Sikhism is?
I know what Sikhism is.
Okay, if you have a chance, I'm not saying you should convert, but just read about it.
I've read a little bit about it.
It's very interesting, and one of their things is like,
The only
You
thing
can-
I have, and the only thing I don't like, the reason why I'm not with Seeker or any of the other things is because they don't prophesy about the future. They don't tell you, but for example, there's nothing in the book of Sikhs, right? Yeah, that
The
book.
Guru Granth Sahib.
Yeah,
That's
there's-
a prophecy.
that's prophesying about war, rumors of war, us being hungry. Because it's even like the news.
Everything that's
They
happening today.
tell you themselves exactly. The news tell you that there's going to be a time where there's going to be no food.
They
out
tell you
here.
the forecast for
It-
tomorrow.
it's
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, exactly.
okay. One of the
Because
things
there's no
that
prophecies in that book.
no there. No, okay. Let me briefly explain the Sikh.
I get it.
Okay,
Tell me
like
one prophecy. in
like
that book.
absolutely, like one of the, because Sikhism is actually an amalgamation of multiple faiths, right? So it took,
Yeah.
so the founders of Sikhism, right, saw that there was wisdom in all these different spiritual
And
systems.
put
So
it
rather
together.
than saying, okay, we're part of the spiritual system, so none of what you say matters, they said that, okay, that sounds deep, I'll incorporate it.
Yeah, they
So
took it and put it
absolutely,
together.
one conclusion that they came to that, and once again, they don't, but this is why a lot of Sikhism isn't really based on faith either. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, just like I was talking about how a lot of ancient spiritual systems subscribe to the idea of reincarnation. So you have your own personal reincarnation where you could be born into a specific lifetime where you're a man, you're a woman, you're...
Well, just a man, you're always the same.
Yeah.
Same sex.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's a different.
They also believe that, I don't want to use the word believe, but there's this
Well,
this
that's
concept
true. They
in...
do believe it. You don't
Like,
you don't
see,
use
like,
that word
Believe is
because-
a tricky word.
I know,
man.
but you don't like
You believe in
that
something,
because
but
it's
it might
faith,
not be
because
false,
because
right,
it's
right.
synonymous to faith.
Yeah.
But it's true. They don't just bring it out and they say it. They do believe in it.
But
Yeah.
They do.
You can believe in something, but it could be wrong.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
So, again,
But there are
you
actual
can
lines
say that.
in the Guru Granth Sahib that say that you shouldn't believe.
Yeah.
So like,
You're right. They do say. I remember they do say that, but it's contradictory because everybody believes in something.
no, absolutely. Like
They
until
believe
you've
that what they're
experienced
doing is
everything,
right.
you have to have some degree of belief.
Yeah.
But the whole thing with Sikhism is that belief has to be situated on some kind of logic, right? Like for example, if I tell you that the path from here to say the University of Regina, I tell you that you've never personally been there yourself, but you think that you think I've been there or whatever, so you have enough faith in what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But you can say I believe that that's the path to the University of Regina, or you can physically go there yourself, so you no longer believe, right?
Yeah.
That prior kind, where you know someone who's personally been there, is is a lot of the foundation of Sikhism or any spiritual system that I even vaguely subscribe to. The idea that you put faith in a particular person who's just as fallible as you are, who's gonna die eventually, who can lie,
Who's
it's
that?
But
very,
that's
very,
too
very
general.
suspect. But
You're right, but that's very just too general. That's like actually, in a sense, that's almost disrespectful because, and I'll say this because you're right. You people, the idea of it is like this man is a man just like you.
yeah.
So it's very suspect to just believe in him when he says.
Or believe anything to be right.
Exactly, but that's prideful to think just because a man looks like you, he's the exact same as you.
No,
know
like
what I
that
mean?
can be.
There's
I'm
men who
just
look
saying-
like me. There's men who look like I'm better looking than my teachers, but they're way wiser than I am.
No, I'm
You know
not.
what I'm
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying. Okay, that actually.
You know
brings
what I'm
up-
saying?
No, I know what you're saying, but that
A lot
actually
of
brings
people
up.
say that.
No, it's true. But I'm not. I agree that obviously like you have different levels of development.
Yeah,
But one of the foundations of pretty much every spiritual system that I know that I've studied outside of Brahmanism, right, was that we all like your soul, right? Like there's spiritual systems that analogize your soul to light, right? So you know how light can break into different spectrums, right?
Yeah.
Within your what they call your etheric light body,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You have what they call a chakra system.
Yeah, chakra
So you have like the root chakra, the sacral chakra, the solar plexus, and all of that, and it goes all the way to the top of your head, right?
Yeah.
Now, there are certain spectrums of your soul that are associated with certain activities, right? Like people who live within their root chakra, right? The root chakra is like the lowest aspect of you, right? This is your fight or flight. This is just basic animals,
Right.
just feeding, feed,
I got a
fight, flight,
question.
fornicate, right?
Right.
So that's the root chakra, right? Your crown chakra is associated with what they call God realization or Christ.
I got a question.
Yeah.
So what do you believe in? You're talking about all the other religions.
See, that's why I call myself
You're
spiritual.
kinda in
Like,
the middle.
I'm not really in the middle.
You're just trying to
Okay,
figure it out.
if
Just
you
trying
want
to figure it out.
I wouldn't say. Well, no, it's very dangerous to say you figured it out because the second you say you figured something
Okay,
out,
well you're in the middle.
Okay, so
I wouldn't
where
even
are
say
you?
I'm in the middle.
Yeah, where are
So
you?
where are you, man? Tell us your location. We want to
Okay,
know.
like if I have to,
State?
I don't.
You don't know, so you're confused.
You know what actually? Let me ask you something
Because
because
you're everywhere.
there's a scripture that talks about
Ah,
that.
but the million books of
Right,
no end,
yeah,
right?
you don't get that?
Yeah.
Because if, let's say, if I were to want to, because like you must want to,
Have
because
people
have people on your
understand
side understand what you're talking about, right? You must want people to understand you.
See,
Everybody wants
that's
to
another thing
understand
too. Like
I gotta say
one of these same energy centers right within your body. Right? Okay, the third chakra, right? It's called the solar plexus chakra. Now this if you look at the quality of what you're talking about, it's associated with what they call your ego, right?
Right.
Now your ego, just like you have a physical self that needs to be sustained by certain things, you have what they call your ego that's developed why when you're just born. Apart from your spirit and your soul is something else completely. Your ego is part of your humanity.
So,
Right?
okay, real quick before you finish. Now, this is Sikhism, right?
It's a lot of different stuff.
It's a little bit of everything,
So
right?
now, do you believe in this? Do you believe what you're talking
I
about?
logically come to the conclusion that it
Okay,
makes sense.
now logical, synonymously connected to evidence. True. So where's the evidence of this?
Okay, you.
They cut someone
Okay, like-
open and seen this.
I can scientifically explain this. When if you think of a thought, right?
Of a
Like
what, sir?
if you think of a word, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like if you think of the word bus, right? You can close your mouth and think of the word bus and have the sound of the word bus go inside your head, even though you haven't verbalized it, right?
Yeah.
So already automatically you know that there's an aspect of you that isn't physical, that resides within you, that's constantly there, whether or not you're aware
Yeah,
of it or not.
yeah, conscious, subconscious.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you can now look at your physical body. If someone took like an MRI of you and they look at your brain firing when you're talking, you're walking around, all they'd see is electricity, right?
Yeah.
So already so you can already see that there's some form of light within you.
Yeah.
That's
Or
there
inner
regardless of
you
whether your
within
body
you.
is there
Yeah.
or not. So now you just break down that light into spectrum.
But that doesn't mean it's there. You're just doing it. You know what I'm saying? They're just saying, okay, there's an inner you in you, right?
Well,
Right? The subconscious, the you that's saying the voice without you saying it out loud. Right?
Well, there's levels to conscious too. There's the conscious you.
Okay,
which
but
is,
all together they're one person that's in you. Yes.
It's not completely. Like there's a conscious you, which is aware that's having a conversation right now.
Right.
There's a subconscious you, which is aware of everything that's ever happened in your life, hasn't forgotten anything. That's why you can poke somebody and they'll remember
Right.
some obscure.
Right.
Okay, and then there's a deeper level of that. What's
Yeah, but they're all in one body. They're all in one house.
They're all one
There's a part.
entity.
There's a part of that they call the collective unconscious, right?
Yeah, but they're all in one. Like they're all.
Are they
all
one
your-
entity?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all like collectively
If
all
they're
of
one
existence,
entity,
all of
then that's
existence,
it.
right?
Okay,
All of existence,
so-
regardless of gender, race, nationality, is
Okay.
just one consciousness.
So
right?
what I'm saying
So-
is that they found this one, broken down, subconscious, the deeper conscious, all that levels, the levels, broke them down, made up separate. But that's just what they did. Doesn't mean that's what it is. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand what, but
So
but
like I'm not discrediting you for believing in that. I'm just saying,
it's not. But,
oh whatever. Well, you definitely do if you're advocating for it. You're
no.
speaking about
I'm
it
like,
right now.
I don't.
Okay,
once
so
again,
you
I
don't
process-
believe in it?
I'll like
You
if
don't believe in it, or you do? Yes or no?
like
You
I
can
came
say
to I
maybe.
came see how I broke down why it could be logical. I
Yeah.
didn't say somebody told me it, so I believe it. Like just like
so
just like
so
if someone
if it's
told
logical, you believe in it then.
if it's logical, I have
So
better
that was
grounds.
logical to you? So that was logical to you?
That there's an aspect of you that can be expressed by light that
Yeah.
can be broken into
What you
spectrum
just told me
within
right
your
now
body.
is logical to you.
Yeah.
So therefore you believe in it.
I'll believe. Well, here's the thing about
It's
belief.
yes or no, brother.
Oh no! Because if I believe in it,
Yeah.
I'm not going to change it regardless of if someone tells me. If somebody presents enough evidence to the contrary, I'll happily change it. And that's the difference between believing in something
Yeah.
with just blind, passionate faith and believing it because
So
there's a
your
logical.
thing is faith. You need to see it.
Yeah.
You really do need to see it.
No, see that's how you avoid getting tricked because
I get that. Yo, I get why you want to be able to see. Hey, there was a man who saw Yahweh Shai himself, saw the Son of the Lord himself, and was with him, and didn't believe him until he had to feel the holes in him when he got crucified. So I get that, but I'm just saying that's not very powerful because anything that's tangible can easily be taken. No?
No,
It's tangible. It can
well,
be taken.
absolutely,
It's tangible.
absolutely, but
So if our faith is not tangible, how can it be taken from us? That's where the power lies in.
Teach your people.
Okay.
Otherwise, there
Preach-
won't be
preach to your
wars.
people?
That's what it's
You're
about,
right.
You said
God.
preach
You're
to your
right.
That's
Yeah.
why you guys have problems. We had our problems, but
We're the same people.
we
same
fought.
people.
We're the same people.
We're the same people.
We fought
We
for
are the same
our land.
people.
No, you're not. You have issues.
Yeah, we all do. Yeah, we Israel, bro.
We're Israel.
You have.
We were put into
you
slavery
guys
just like
fight
as
to
you
run
were.
away from your land. If we're the same people, you'd be over there making life.
I don't know what the hell that
Alright,
means.
Jake.
So don't bullshit.
Alright,
I don't
Jake.
know what that means.
Yeah, our
That's the
people
women.
is like that, man.
Women speak on
She doesn't
emotion.
even know that we're the same people, man.
But
that's actually a very interesting thing about women too. But
they're
like,
based on emotion.
no, okay, like, okay, see, no, it's true. I agree with you. I agree with you on that. My whole thing is that my whole thing is that a lot of like, would you agree that a lot of like what Hebrew Israelites believe, they Hebrew Israelites don't really like Europeans, right? Like that's
They're not
one of
They
the
don't really like Europeans.
like you don't
Like-
really have
No.
an affinity for
No,
What do you mean?
honestly,
We
man,
don't like Edomites.
like it doesn't matter
no,
where you're from.
but okay.
You're right. You will have some Hebrews who are like that, but the ones ones like us, that are from GMS, we're deeper. We don't care where you're from. If you're
Like,
spirit,
it's not a physical
it
thing.
doesn't
No,
matter.
it's about your
Physically,
spirit.
It means, like that
Okay.
doesn't mean shit, but it doesn't mean as much
Okay.
as it means spiritually.
Okay, maybe you're a little different, but
Okay.
my whole thing is that like a lot of the ones I've seen, right?
Yeah.
That's they have like a passion and it's
Yeah.
like okay, so if
Yeah.
so my whole thing is if you want to just remove the influence of anything that stems from a time period where I guess that like where anything associated with the West, right, has no influence, you go back beyond 6,000 years.
Yeah.
So, a lot of the things that people believe, I don't want to use the word, a lot of the things that people subscribe to
It's
spiritually
alright,
right,
man.
prior to 6,000
You can say
years
believe
ago
because we understand.
were the exact opposite
Yeah.
of what a lot of people in modern religions believe.
how do you know
So
this,
for
though?
example, okay, like let's just use the example of
Okay.
Kemet, right?
Kemet, yeah,
with the
okay.
pyramids and all that.
Yeah,
Okay, women, right, in ancient times were at the same level or higher than men.
Right.
So and interestingly,
We're still in that
and
right now.
interestingly, like if you want to draw a little correlation or whatever, and like what they call melanated people, what they call it, that was also the time that they were ruling the world. Right?
Yeah.
But interestingly, when you had patriarchal system that came in the aftermath 6,000 years later, and women were at the bottom, you also saw the fall of whatever people globally. So for that reason alone, I'm a little suspect of any spiritual system that doesn't raise women to at least the same level as men.
Why?
Because okay, like
Okay, let me bring some
here's
logic to you real
a
quick.
logical okay. If you
Yeah.
if you look at like if you play chess, right?
Yeah, we better bring that
You play-
discussion.
You
You play chess?
right?
Yeah.
Chess was created by the Moors, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
during the Renaissance. Okay,
Which is-
so and the most powerful piece on the chessboard is the queen, right? It's not the king is the king
Yeah,
moves
yeah,
only one
I get it.
space.
Yeah, I get it.
What are the cards?
And if the king gets attacked once, the game is over, right? So
Right.
the queen, ironically, is really the most powerful. And,
Yeah,
and so
Yeah,
so if you just take that to the concept of an army, right?
Yeah, right.
If you have a male general, right, or a
Yeah.
male lieutenant, like just any male in a position of power, right? Men were built a certain way where, okay, let's just take something women are known for, which is being emotional, right?
Yeah.
A man, while we can get emotional, we don't get as emotional as quickly,
Yeah.
or we don't get as emotional as intuitively, or
We're
understand things
stronger-minded.
and emotionally as quickly as women do.
We're stronger minded.
That's a subjective statement.
Okay, but how else can I find that? If it is, how else would you explain a man who doesn't get as emotional, as quick, as fast as a woman? How else would you
But
explain it? Yeah, because
you-
it takes
that-
mental strength. If someone's pissing you off,
Yeah.
it takes mental strength to be like, okay, I'm not gonna blow up. I'm gonna figure this out. I'm actually trying to talk this out. It takes that's
You
mental
can
strength.
interpret
Okay, what is it then?
Okay.
If
Like
you don't say it's that,
like
yeah,
you know what like a sociopath is?
Yeah. that's
Okay.
what sociopath is.
So you know let me go a step further. Do you know what a psychopath is?
Yeah.
Okay. A psychopath is someone who emotionally, there are certain synapses in your brain that fire when you feel certain emotions, right?
Right.
So things like regret, things like fear, things like sadness,
Yeah.
those don't even register in the mind of a psychic. So that's why, like,
Yeah.
if let's just use the example.
They're fucked. They're like
No, exactly.
they're not even
But so and this is a person who doesn't feel jacked emotionally.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But would you consider that a strength to that person, or would you consider that a defect?
It depends on the situation.
Exactly. So you can't say that because men tend to get less emotional than women, then automatically that like. To me, the fact that women feel things more
In a
emotionally
general,
deeply
though,
Yeah,
can
yeah.
be interpreted as a strength.
Yeah, but
So-
in,
so for
okay,
example-
but in a world in today's world, okay, let me ask you something. Say yes or no, okay? In today's world, is it better to be more emotional, or is it better to be less emotional?
Or mentally tough.
Or mentally tough? Yeah, that's a better way to say it. In today's world, what is it better?
me personally, I
Which one would you say?
it's hard to give a yes or
not?
no answer because like
Well, just pick
if I say if I say that
Yeah.
if I say that you're better because you feel like, because me personally, I believe that not everyone has a soul, right? Like I believe, like just like they're,
We're talking about
no,
spirits.
just like they're, you can,
Yo, so-
no,
yo,
no,
so
no,
we're just
no,
walking
let me
things.
explain why. Like just like you have like psychopaths, right? And you can and you can legitimately you can measure their brain patterns
yeah.
and see that they just don't feel certain emotions,
Yeah.
and that makes them extremely dangerous because they can literally tell their entire
That doesn't
family
mean they
not
have
to
a
do anything.
spirit though.
No, everything has a spirit. A spirit is different from a soul. A spirit.
Same thing.
No.
Okay, so what's the difference?
Okay, everything, right? That there are three qualities or three aspects of the thing that exists, right? One is what they call your physical body. Right? Your physical body, everyone can see that, right? Then there's what they call your spirit, right? Things that aspect of you that people don't really see, they can guess it,
Yeah.
but they can't see physically see it, right? That's what they call your spirit.
Okay, so
And
do you
then there's
have
what-
faith that people? Sorry, but so do you? Like, for example, right, I was talking about faith and how like you have troubles with it, right? And now we're just talking about spirits. Do you actually? Can you physically see a spirit? Yes or no?
Yes.
Can you?
Listen, I can give two different. I can give two different arguments.
You have faith that people have spirits then.
No, you know what's interesting is that
No,
you're Haitian and you're asking, they're like the most super spiritual people.
Yeah,
You're like you pretty much like invented like the okay.
Yeah, that's
stuff,
fine,
but
that's
like, but my whole thing is that like when
Okay, so I'm going back to you said that
Okay.
you can see a physical spirit.
okay when you know in the center in your skull, right?
Yeah.
There's an organ, just like you have different organs in your body that are responsible for doing certain tasks, right? You have a liver that cleans out certain sugars and all of that. In your brain, right? They found that there's a certain organ that a lot of medical people like to say doesn't really do anything.
Yeah.
But really, it serves a spiritual function, right? It's what they call the thalamus, the
Everything
pineal,
has
the
a
third eye, or
purpose,
whatever, right?
Yeah.
And they found that this organ is far bigger in children than it is in adults, right?
Yeah.
And they found that one of the biggest things that cultivates this organ is, okay, let me do it the other way. There are things that shut down this organ. One of them is fear, right? Because fear releases a certain hormone into your body. Constantly feeling intense levels of fear can shut down or atrophy this organ, right? What they also found too is that when you're growing up and you go through school, you go through, in some cases religion, you go through being socialized or whatever. This organ that's normally that's huge in children because you see how children act, right? Children don't really give a shit. Like if they see, they'll play with things that aren't really.
They don't understand yet. Is what you should say.
No. Well, no,
true.
no, because if you look,
A child can put his hand on the stove and burn himself. Does that mean that he doesn't care? He doesn't understand that it's hot
Yeah.
and it's gonna actually hurt him.
It's true. Lack of
Okay.
understanding. Okay,
If you-
real
okay,
quick,
let me-
you go into it. You're deep. You really go into it.
like,
Real quick. Are you gonna take the chip? No.
no, I'm not gonna.
Why?
I'm not gonna take the. Like, why would I?
Yeah. Well, why would
If you take this chip, right,
Yeah,
you're
but
pretty
why?
much accepting that power over you, right?
Okay, so are you ready to die for not taking the chip?
Yeah.
Okay,
Like,
you ready to be tortured?
admittedly, there are a lot of different. Like I said, there are a lot of different ways you can go. If
Right.
you're
Are
gonna
you
tell me-
ready to be tortured?
Huh?
Are you ready to be tortured?
There are plenty of ways you can take yourself.
Are you ready to be tortured? Yes or no?
You can
If they
literally.
grab
Hi, my brother.
You can literally go to.
If they grab
This
you,
sound. This
Are
is
you,
okay.
are you ready to be tortured? Yes or no?
if they grab you and they take you to like a room or like where there's like a so-called hospital bed, right? How are you gonna take yourself out while they're torturing you? Like you said,
Okay.
Strap you down.
yeah, like and they strap you down.
But you
and
make it sound.
you
as
can't
if-
kill yourself.
You make it
Because
sound as if-
yo,
It's not that complicated.
Bro, what you
That's
listen, let me tell you something. How they win is where you think that what they're doing is too much. Like, no, that can't happen. That's how they win because listen, the best way to win is when my enemy underestimates me. But they think I won't take it that far. Of course, how else have they been able to openly tell you that they put poison in the food and yet you still eat it? They put on cigarette packs. This is what it's gonna do to you. Like, they give you a picture, and yet it's still a multi-billion-dollar industry. You know what
A
I'm
lot of
saying?
it is.
But the way they're winning is because people underestimate their enemies. They literally
It's not-
underestimate them.
Okay.
So when you're saying that that's probably not gonna happen, bro, that's where they might get you. So I'm trying to say, are you willing to get tortured? Yes or no?
Okay,
willing to
there's
get
a.
tortured?
I don't really believe in problems without solutions.
I know. Are you
just
willing
don't
to get
think.
tortured?
Huh?
Are you willing to get tortured? Yes or no?
I prefer not to get
Of course,
tortured.
no one loves to get it. I feel you. I don't want to get tortured either, but if I got to, I got to.
you gotta go through that pain.
I had this
Listen,
thing is
you can-
strong
you
enough
can-
for me to go through that
You
and
can
stay through it.
Just
Now, are you
hypothetically,
willing
just
to? Yes or
hypothetically,
no?
right, you could get this RFID chip, right? And then still afterwards go out and do it. Like
No, you can't.
no, see, the thing about
because what's gonna happen is
oh,
the man
they're gonna
oh, the man above is coming to find. Get that scripture over. You should find 14, Revelation 14.
Oh yeah.
Get that real quick because you might not believe in God and His Son, but His Son is supposed to come back, and when He comes back, He's looking for everybody who has that mark, which is RFID chip.
Which is a sign that you're against them. You're on
Against
that
it, because
devil
there's
side.
two. Listen, in the new world, in this new couple years coming up, nation,
Yo, things are
Russia,
happening
yeah,
right
things are
now.
happening. Russia is looking to take over the world. Right now, at one point, right now it's kind of open, but at one point, America ruled the world. America was the Mecca of the world. Exactly, was the Mecca of the world because of the military might and everything. But now they're breaking down. Now you see these other nations, the other nations are coming against America. Like Russia's not scared of America anymore. They'll bomb it if they really want to. North Korea is the same thing. They're threatening America because now they feel they can see America breaking down. So these different nations are looking to be the next Mecca, the next middle, the next center of the world. But there's another man who's doing the same thing too. Now, who we call Yahweh Shai is the son of the Lord. You might not believe in him, but he's supposed to come down, and when he comes down, it's going to be him and his people against the whole world. And now he's going to look for the people who have that RFID chip. If you have it, you're done. You're finished. And you're an Israelite, so you're lucky because you're going to come back. Because what's going to happen if you do take that chip? He will destroy you, but you're gonna come back in the reincarnation in the kingdom in your right mind, and you're gonna get all the blessings.
I have a
Read that real quick before you say something. Real
Yeah.
quick.
This is Revelation chapter 14,
Yeah, at least four.
verse 9, yeah. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image,
The
and
beast. What is the beast? The beast is the system. Really, if you go deeper, it's their military might. The police system started. Yeah, the NATO. Really, it's NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Now that's how because how do these elites, the banking family, how do they institute their rules by the way of the law enforcement, right? For instance, laws are passed down from the higher ups. For example,
sorry, just to briefly interject,
yeah.
like you said something that I don't think you picked up. That's part of the reason why I don't really subscribe to any form of
right. What is
like
that?
you said, the elite, like anytime you like if you look into psychology by itself, without, like psychology by itself is just a very interesting subject. When you refer to anyone as an elite, you're automatically programming yourself with a certain level of relative. I don't
do have
consider
a power
even if you have
Yeah,
even if you have
this is
money,
true.
even if you have money.
I have a boss, and if I don't go to work, I
no.
lose it. He's over me at my job.
Listen,
That's
No,
just
but
it, man.
everybody has their own. If you're into Morris, like everybody has their own sovereignty or their own power or whatever that nobody can take away from. That's why like I respect a lot of like Buddhist monks and all of that because they
When I
realize
say
that,
elite,
yeah, absolutely. Right? So because once again, you don't experience anything outside of your mind, whether it's hunger, whether it's pain, whether it's fear, whether it's suffering. Technically, if I could shut down all the nerves in your body, half of the stuff that you threaten, that can be threatened against you, whether it's death, whether it's setting you on fire, you wouldn't feel that just because of the nerves in your own body. So automatically, there's a way for you to bypass a lot of pain in the world just by cultivating.
yeah, but I can't do that. I don't know.
Well, what do you mean you can't do that?
I can't take
Just meditate. Listen.
That's it?
It's literally that easy.
Yo,
It's literally
if
that
it's
easy.
Everyone would be doing
No,
so. Right?
see, that's another thing that's interesting too. Because if you, okay, I guess I
Well,
can.
actually, what I should say to you is for us, we can't do that because according to the Lord, these bodies are chained. These are what
No, I agree with that one.
And we actually just can't. I can't. If I could, God, if I could just hop out of my body and be in my spiritual form, I wouldn't come back in here ever. No, if I'm gonna come back in here, this body is weak. This body is shit.
No,
You
it's
get
true.
sick in
I
it.
agree. I agree
I
with
would
that.
never come back
I
in here
agree with that one.
ever, bro. I would never come back in here. But because these bodies are hell as part of our punishment, our adversities, we have to deal with it. That's why we can't just hop in
Exactly.
hop out
And
of our
if
body.
you look into Sikhism, right, it actually teaches you that, like, your body, right? Like, that's why a lot of these mystical spiritual systems don't really teach. The concept of death in a lot of mystical systems isn't really. It's not something to fear because like to them,
it's just transition.
exactly right.
Death is
To them, there are only two ways you can exist. You either reincarnate back into a human body, forgetting all of your experiences from each prior lifetime,
right,
and
right,
continue suffering and dealing with the same bullshit every.
Yeah.
That's why like you can have successive lifetimes and keep going through the same
Yeah,
bullshit
deja
because you're not
vus.
exactly
Yeah.
because you're not acquiring enough life, right?
Yeah.
So ultimately, the whole thing is spiritual, even though it seems physical on this plane of existence.
Right, right.
So when so ultimately it's not about it's like when we talk about that system, right? You're trying to cultivate that level of spiritual realization where you get to a point where you're basically what they call unfuckable, right? Like nothing phases you, right? And then there's certain, like I said, there's certain energy centers or certain organs within your own body that are designed for spiritual realization.
I believe that because the Lord made us. Well, of course, He designed our bodies to be like that. But we can't tap in those anyhow. Because at the end of the day,
There are
do
people
you believe in
who
a higher
actually
power?
believe
You
this.
believe in a higher power? You believe in a higher power?
I believe that.
Yes or no, brother? Yes or no?
No, I believe that there's
A higher
I believe
power.
that there's one
Higher power.
I believe that there's one God and we're all expressions of that one God.
Okay, so yes, you believe in a higher power.
Okay, sure, yeah. I believe
Right?
that.
So does He control everything?
Well, I wouldn't call him a he.
Okay. Okay. Well,
I wouldn't. How do you put a gender on God? Like,
well, according to the book, He has a
it's-
gender.
no, it's a spirit. Gender is a physical thing. But
Yeah.
how do you attach a physical attribute to a non-physical?
Well, because
thing?
He
In
made.
the spiritual world, they have a form of a man.
They don't.
They're masculine and feminine.
Yeah, like,
energy, like-
what you guys don't understand is, get that in Corinthians, there's terrestrial and celestial. Yeah, because what you guys understand, when people talk about spirits, you think it's just like a floating ball of energy around. That's not what.
No.
Spirits, there's celestial bodies and terrestrial bodies. Terrestrial meaning of the earth.
yeah, like yes, this
Exactly.
physical, this meat.
Exactly. But the Lord, He has a terrestrial body. He has a body, and it's a man. It's not. He doesn't have a body with tits and a vagina.
But you're not a dick either.
Yeah.
Okay, like see, what's interesting is that, like, if you look at they found this science that if you study nature, you can actually break down nature geometrically, right? And they found that there's certain numbers and certain fractions that keep showing up in the ratios of nature, and they keep repeating to such an extent that they're called it sacred geometry because the fact that they can actually see the patterns within nature that match mathematical patterns. So there have been people who've gone so far to say that maybe everything that you're experiencing right now isn't even real.
Yeah. Okay, so do you believe that?
So it's based on
agree?
science.
Do you believe? Yes or no?
No, it's based on a tradition.
Okay, but
No.
so do you believe it? If it's based on
Okay,
truth,
sure. I subscribe to it because this because this
Alright, you
is
subscribe to
this
it,
is
so-
this is coming from like
Yeah,
like
yeah.
for example this is in religious
I know, I'm
like,
just saying,
this is-
you don't have to be
this is-
religious to
Yeah,
have
like
belief.
absolutely, like physicists, right?
Yeah,
Who are the
people-
most skeptical scientists? Like
Right,
I don't believe
but
anything I
yeah,
can't
but
personally
you-
experience.
Right, so when you believe in this, what you're saying, because if
Like-
you don't
like-
believe in what you're saying to me, then I
No, okay, absolutely. Okay, if you define it like that, then yes, I believe in what I'm saying. Right?
Okay, so what we're saying is that counteracting. You want to read that scripture?
Yeah, the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 39. It says, all flesh is not the same flesh, but there is one kind of flesh of man, another flesh of beasts, and another of fishes, and another of birds. There are also celestial bodies and bodies terrestrial, but the glory of the celestial is one, and the glory of the terrestrial is another.
Exactly. So the heavenly Father, the God who's the power that's in the heavens, he has a celestial body. Even Yahweh Shai, this is his son. He's not here. He's in the spiritual world. He has a celestial body. So they have bodies because God is not a woman. Okay, listen. The reason why I say God is not a woman is
why is God not a woman?
because women are physically weaker than us. Physically.
Women are argued. Okay, see,
Yo,
okay. Do you have you?
If I get in a fight with any of these women here,
Okay, have you?
one-on-one, they're done. If I hit them hard enough, they're done.
What
That's
is-
why this
Have you
system
ever
works
played
for
like?
women.
Let me use that.
The system works for
No, I
women.
understand what you're saying, but like, have you ever played like? Have you? I'm gonna use a kind of crazy example. Have you ever played Pokemon before?
Yeah.
Okay, you know how usually you have a team of 6 different Pokemon.
Yeah.
And if you once you get to like the Elite Four and the gym leaders,
Yeah.
if you have all of the same type of Pokemon on your team,
Yeah.
you're eventually going to come across an Elite Four gym leader who's just going to completely demolish your team. Like if you have
that's-
6 fire types
Yeah,
on your
that's
team.
not gender specific.
Yeah, but
No,
that's a way of
I'm going to bring you
conditioning
back
your
to the
mind
gender
too,
thing for a
dude.
second, right? So for example, if you have all fire types on your team and you have an Elite Four who's a water type, right? Your team is completely gone. It doesn't matter how powerful they are.
Yeah.
So, in that same example, right, you said that men are physically stronger than, which I agree with, right?
Yeah.
Now,
Okay, so
women,
then why
right?
is that?
Women are arguably, based on my personal experiences, mentally and emotionally stronger than men. Because, because just
maybe
like,
most men. But if I'm talking,
Like,
if I talk about
not
the
to
men
mention
I
women
know,
tend to live longer than
yeah,
men.
if I
too,
talk
but that's
like in
another
general, because it is true. We're in such a fucked up society that men act like women and women are taking the role of men. It's the same.
Well,
it's-
yeah,
it is.
there's that's
There's
kind
that,
of
so
too,
I
but
guess I
like,
can't,
like,
there is, but for the men I know,
In the
and me alone, and then just generally, women were not built to be stronger than men. They were built
no,
to
absolutely.
be exactly.
See, but
They
that
were
doesn't
built
mean
to be
you're
the
stronger
weaker
though.
vessel.
Like if I have
They're the weaker
a
vessel.
business, if I have a business, right, and I have a person who's an accountant
Yeah.
in that business, right,
Yeah.
and I have another person who's a marketer on that business. I have
yeah.
another person who's on the person who does accounting and he's nice with numbers. He's the
he's
accountant
good,
you'll ever
right.
meet. He's not better than the person who's the marketer just because he does. That's his thing. Like he likes numbers. That's what he's good at.
Yeah.
But he's not any more
Yeah, that's
valuable than the
the-
other
I'm
Yeah,
person.
but that's
you know what I
just
mean?
like individualism.
Yeah, I'm
I'm talking
talking
about it in general.
like generalized. Like if you look at the role of a man and a woman in the house,
Yeah. Like
the man is the man is what structure. That's why they always what they do. Take the father out the house and see what happens.
Absolutely, like if you absolutely you're supposed to have 2 parents, right? But my whole thing is like if you want to see one of people who grow into adulthood who are very psychologically unstable, it's usually the people who didn't have any kind of motherly affection growing up.
No, actually, it's usually people who don't have the father. Look at the ghettos. Are you crazy? You're black yourself. Look at the ghettos.
Listen,
Look at the
if your
ghettos.
mother, you physically come out of your mother, right?
Yeah,
all
but
those little
first I was
things
a
that-
seed
Absolutely,
from-
I agree
from the
with you. But
father.
all those little things that your mother does, that
Like
that
you
don't-
are who your father is. Like for instance, I can like your like
You get your
this
mother
might
card
sound
bill.
this might sound rough, but women are just incubators. They're houses for your seed. Literally, listen.
They're the
I
earth.
can take an apple. Let's say the earth is is an analogy of a woman, and the apple seed I have is an analogy of your sperm. If I take this apple seed and I plant it here, I get an apple seed. If I plant it in Canadian soil, I get an apple seed. That's Canadian woman. If I plant it in China soil, this is Chinese woman, I still get an apple seed. No matter where it's planted. So, in essence, I'm not trying to say women are not important at all. We need women to have babies, of course. I can't have no one. I can't
Women's
have
role
baby
exists.
myself. But what I'm
Like,
saying is the role of a man is higher than a woman. But in the society, it isn't,
not
and that's
fair.
why everything's all
confused.
fucked up. Because for instance, the ratio to men that win in custody when it comes to child compared to women is like 1 to every. It's for like 10 to every 1 man. to every 10 women that win, one man might win. And it's because the system is built and set up for women to succeed and be higher than men. And that's just the truth.
Really? You think?
Absolutely.
definitely, man.
That's why.
Serious?
Well, are you talking the Western world or globally? Because globally, women have a shit. Like,
Not globally. I said the Western
globally?
world. It's
Yeah.
getting globally. The Western
because-
world, they're still keeping customs from the Middle East, like way back.
No,
Yeah, that's. But I'm talking about the Western Hemisphere. North America,
the West
Western
allows a lot
Hemisphere.
of things that aren't considered like normal.
Women,
in the rest of the
women
world.
run this. That's why as the statistics came out, that homosexuals are more likely to be hired and get paid higher than a straight man. The reason why,
Maybe that's more.
and the reason why is because they're more feminine. That's the move. That's the wave. That's what's going on in the system. That's how it is.
But my whole
that's
thing
not
is-
correct. That's not correct.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, right? My whole thing is, if you just like you have different roles, and you have like. If we're using the example of basketball, I can have someone who's a nice sharpshooter. I have someone who's just nice at passing or whatever. And in that same way, just like everything if you study nature has a masculine. Everything that if you study nature has a masculine and feminine energy, right? That's why and this is everything. This is all the way down to even mathematics, right? Like if you study ratios and all of that, anything that goes in circles has what they call a feminine energy.
Right, right.
Everything that goes in straight lines has what they call a masculine energy.
Right.
So masculine and feminine are just built into nature by default.
Yeah.
If you take one aspect of that out, you destroy all
So
creation.
you think women are equal to men? You think women
I
are
think-
equal to men?
I think women serve obviously if you break it down to just the physical part, then obviously
Well,
like
physically and
Yeah,
but mentally if someone is mentally okay, I understand what you're saying, right?
Yeah,
but like if
No
you
one has
that's another point too. But like if you have someone who's like 4'1",
Yeah.
and he has like a 300 IQ,
Yeah.
and you have someone who's 7 feet and he's built like The Rock or something.
Yeah.
That guy who's 4'1" can destroy the life of the person who's 7 foot, even though he's physically weaker than him. So automatically you can't just because he's smarter. So you can't just say that because somebody's
you're
not
right.
physically.
No, you're right, but I'm
'Cause
I'm
technically-
talking both physically and mentally, bro.
So you think okay that one is just blatant, like because.
So what do you think mentally?
I
Which one?
have sisters, right?
Yeah, which
Like,
one do
no,
you think?
actually, let me
Yes,
think
sir. Which
about
one do you think, man or woman? Which one? Or equal? Mentally,
equal.
all together.
How?
all together?
Yeah, all together. Mentally, physically, all of that, all together. Which one is above or are they
mental
both equal?
trumps physical to me because technically,
Okay, so
if
which,
you
so,
if you
so
look at-
mental then, so mental, which one's above? Or are they equal?
if you want
Which one?
if a man and a woman have all of the same opportunities, all of the same education,
Well, they're not going to, they're not the
Arguably-
same people. You can't get the same opportunity.
Otherwise,
because
otherwise we'll all
they're
be one gender.
Because
It's
women-
that way.
Exactly.
Honestly.
Oh, exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
you
That's
ju-
such a good
to
point.
bring up that chromosome thing, right? They haven't found it on man, right? If you because when you're being
Yeah,
incubated, right?
answer my question.
No, this is
Before you get there,
this is
before you
gonna
get
answer.
there.
This is gonna
Okay,
answer.
cool,
Too.
cool.
When you're being incubated, right?
Get to the point.
Everything is just an XX.
Yeah.
If you come out as an XX, you're a female. You find out when you lose like 2% of your chromosome, it becomes an XY, and you come out as a male. So so if everything that you can ever think or do is an expression of the total content of your DNA, then women are superior to men just based off of men.
Okay, but so which one do you believe? Which one do you believe?
If you just reduce it to just pure science, then technically mentally women are superior to men.
Okay, cool. I got a question. Why are we not all the same gender if we're equal? If everything is equal, why are we not all the same gender then? Why are we not all the same gender if everything is equal? Why is there a woman, and there's a man?
There's no such thing as equality.
No, I agree with that. But
There are differences. This world is too diverse to have equality.
Yeah.
Way too diverse.
There's two different
equality is
genders.
very funny.
You know, it's not like
when
there's
you
6
say
different genders. There's
Yeah.
only 2 different genders, right? There's a male and then there's a female, right? And that's what the whole world is pretty much operating. There's no in between, right? So
I mean, like, in the end of the day, though, the most important thing, besides the discussion about women, the most important thing is what you're going to do when they bring in the new order.
listen, you can take yourself out. You can,
Listen, so what
I'm
do
not. I'm not.
you
I'm not.
take yourself out?
Look.
we're gonna go
Are
out
you
like
gonna
that.
take yourself out?
Wait, look. There are only a couple of ways if that happens that this is gonna go down, right? Like
you gonna take
either
yourself?
like if you see a bunch, if this turns into like Call of Duty Modern Warfare or something, like
Yeah.
in the physical, like what are your options? What are you gonna do? Just start like, just get a bunch of ammo, and just like
No,
go
bro,
around.
we
with
rely on
it?
the Bible tells
That's
us.
faith.
The Bible tells us that he
What's
should,
gonna happen?
What's gonna happen? It tells us to live by his faith. Like, listen, I'm just gonna do me, and I keep
Well,
going
what's
to
what
work.
is doing you?
So I'm gonna keep waking up, going to work. As soon as they say you have to RFID Egypt, I quit. It's that simple. Then I find another job that doesn't take. And it's every job has to have the RFID Egypt. That's
That's
when
what-
I'm homeless.
And you know, that's when you know the Lord is coming.
That's when I know the Lord's
That's
coming.
it.
That's
Because
it. All I
just
gotta do is
that.
sit and wait because that's faith.
Sit and wait.
Yeah, not like you sit
sit
and like
and wait.
not on my
The Lord's
back,
gonna
wait on
feed
me.
us and all of that.
The Lord said He's gonna feed us. He's
Which-
gonna come and save us. He's gonna
Which,
protect us.
which everything that we're doing is pretty much, everything that we're actually a part of and that we're doing is all goes back to having faith. So if you don't believe in that, that's cool, right? Because we understand that there's some people who actually don't believe in that and, they need to see it to believe it. But everything that we are, like a part of is actually based upon faith. What's up, Chase? Very good. But yeah, so basically, just like what the brother is saying, he said that, like when, all of these things happen, his conclusion is pretty much have faith that the Lord's going to come back and deliver him. That's it. Some people don't believe in it, that's cool. We have no issue with that, but at the end of the day, there's only going to be one truth and it's going to be revealed, right?
No, absolutely. Like I believe that. Like, but well, we already had the faith discussion, right? Like, because the whole wait for something outside of you to save you, that has kept millions of people enslaved for thousands of years. So, all over the world. It's also objectively.
Hey, you're right. Hey,
you can
look,
see that
and that's why not everybody can do this.
Can do it, yeah.
Like technically,
It takes another man to be like, yo, I've seen what this has done to other people and still get delivered.
No, absolutely, but that whole philosophy, right, of just wait and
You'll
see,
see,
like
though.
you can turn
You'll
that
see.
inward.
Listen, what's gonna happen in these next couple of years? You'll see. You're gonna see
I think
so
that's
willing.
it.
You're gonna see us get beamed up. And when all hell breaks loose, you're gonna understand exactly everything we're talking
No,
about.
like
right now.
there's a lot of interesting stuff being started. Right? Like for example, I think there's how they're like secret government projects and all that.
So absolutely.
There's like this one, I think it's called Project Bluebeam or whatever, where
I did a video
they have like
yeah,
holograph,
they
right?
can project.
You can project.
everything.
So,
Exactly.
The Bible talks about that. That's
Yeah,
what's gonna happen.
yeah.
So we're already warned about it. It's not like we're surprised and all of a sudden, oh my God, it's Project Bluebeam, it's fake. No, we've already been warned on how
Yeah,
it's gonna
but
come.
They're gonna use Project Bluebeam to
Genetic-
make the Christians take the RFID chip.
Well,
Even
what-
the Christians don't believe that in Catholics. They believe that's the mark of the beast and all that stuff.
So if they had a Project Bluebeam that was programmed to depict itself as
How are
Yahweh,
we gonna know?
How are we gonna know? The Bible
Okay,
tells
this
us.
is what they're gonna do. They're gonna show this man. This is how we know. There's more than one ways we'll know. First of all, it's not gonna be speaking. It's not gonna be speaking in Hebrew. Another thing, it's gonna be speaking in English. Second of all, they're gonna show this man, right? That's Jesus Christ. That's the Son of the Lord. They're not. There's no way Esau is gonna show this man.
what if
And
they,
guess what? And guess
coming
what? And
from
even
the
if they do show this
Coming
man,
from the east.
and they say, and even it has to be coming from the east. And Esau knows the scripture, so I know he might be coming from the east. Huh? So even if they show this man, but they show this.
even you're thinking about what you're saying.
No,
no,
this like just made a
like
funny
it
joke.
was
I
a
know
joke.
exactly what I'm saying. But I'm saying,
Right.
even if this man comes out and and this man's telling us, yeah, take the RFID for this kingdom, I know it's wrong.
That's false.
I know because in the Bible it says the man that's supposed to come is against the RFID chip. There's key words.
I'll be honest with you.
For sure. Go ahead. Go ahead.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 25, Matthew chapter 24, verse 23. Then, if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is, I'll just read it verbatim, here is Christ, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false Christ and false prophets, and shall show great signs
Project Bluebeam is amazing.
great signs
Yeah.
and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
Not the elect of the people who are supposed to stand against the
Yeah.
world.
And then it says, Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. For as the lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even unto the west,
That's Project Bluebeam, man.
so
Project
also...
Bluebeam is just one of like 1,000 different projects. Like
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
their cloning projects. There's
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, and it says, yeah, and it says, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For wheresoever the carcasses is, there will the eagles be gathered together. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, then shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken.
So guess what? They're gonna have that man come out. Because Esau's smart. He might have an image of what we have here. And some of us that believe in what we believe are gonna get terrorists in that area. Like, oh, that's the Lord.
Yeah.
And then take the order for Egypt. Yeah, that just means they weren't studying the Bible. Because you have to study this book. Because it says that he's against that shit. He's against that movement. So if I see the same image saying I'm with that movement, I'm not gonna take it. I'm like, yo, this is false. So trust me, we have our witness. The whole thing is covered. There's no hole here. This whole thing is covered.
You're using the King James Version Bible.
Yeah,
Okay.
Real quick,
Man,
we're just gonna close
just-
up real quick.
even
Real
from
quick, we're just
just-
gonna close up real quick.
Okay,
We're gonna close up. We're gonna say Kal Halal Yahweh, Wa Yahushai, the double honors to the apostles and the elders of great millstone, and salutations to the elect who push this word across the world in truth and sincerity, and death and destruction to his wicked kingdom.
Okay.